Hello there. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Mark, AA3K, and welcome to my 2021 field day in a tent in the backyard this year. And I know I look a little bit like a hot mess because it rained during the time I was setting up the tent here, and it really poured, and then it stopped, and then the humidity took off. So I was completely drenched by the time I was done. So if you watched my video from last year, the setup is pretty much the same, except I'm using my ICOM 706 instead of my Elecraft K3. I'm out in the backyard instead of the sunroom. I do have a new generator this year, which is handling the varying loads, especially of the radio when it goes into transmit, a lot better. And I'll just say the band conditions are really, really poor this year. A lot of fading on signals. Right in the middle of copying their information, they fade out to nothing. You have nothing. You get nothing to. You'll have the information you need to log. You have to ask for them a repeat. The phone bands are extremely noisy, so I've shifted over to Morse code. It's a lot easier to copy. The noise is much more restricted on the bandwidth. And moving along, so not exactly exciting as it's been in the past. It's nice to have friends around that you can chat with while you're on some downtime. You know, the people can get in the radio, you can learn new things, but we do what we can. Hopefully things will get better next year. So, I'll give you a tour of the station in a little bit, and catch you later. Okay, good morning. It's Sunday morning of field day weekend. Been steadily moving through contacts. I'm still a hot mess. Sun has been going in and out. Tent does get a little bit warm when the sun comes out. I do have a fan out here, but it's also blowing at the radio to help keep it cool. The bands have been a bit noisy. Propagation has been dropping out in the middle of it. I'm also going to slug it out, try to do more than the 260 or so contacts that I did last year. Not super killing myself, since I do have to break everything down by the end of today. And I would like to test out a new antenna that I've been building, now that I have a particularly high rope over a tree, if it's temporarily. So we'll let you know how we do during 2021 field day at the end of the video. Catch you later. So I had intended to record more of my field day operation this year, but with the early rain during setup, the high humidity that resulted from that, and the general high temperatures that weekend. As you can see from the picture of my thermometer I put out in the tent, 99 degrees at that point in time, and it did reach as high as 110 when the sun was shining on the tent. Made for a very grueling operation, so I did not get as much video as I would have liked to demonstrate what I did. But hopefully these pictures will give you a better idea of my operation and setup. So here's how I set up in the backyard. I use my good old family tent, sleeps about 6 people intimately, and my good old Eagles Fly canopy. In hindsight, I should have put the canopy over the tent to help shield some of the sun off the tent. That would have definitely have dropped the temperatures in the tent quite a bit. Live and learn. I put out a couple of chairs so potentially myself and my wife could relax a little bit during the weekend. Unfortunately, with all the temperature and the bugs, that did not come to pass. It was just a couple of extra items that I had to put away. Here is the setup of the station. Again, it's very similar to my winter field day setup. I have the computer, the headphones that go with the ICOM 706, the tuner, a desk lamp, and you can't see it, but the wind keyer and a rig blaster for doing Morse code and voice keying of the radio. The ICOM 706 is still, after 25 years, is still an excellent little radio for portable use, even base station use. It does lack some of the modern conveniences, like a built-in memory keyer for voice and CW, as well as IF DSP. It does have audio frequency DSP, which does help, but unfortunately you could still end up pumping your AGC on strong signals, even though the DSP is filtering them out. And obviously we got a bottle of water and the obligatory coffee cup to keep on going. Here's a picture of my antenna. I bought a new version of the DX Stream, the 88-foot model. So running it, it took up almost completely across my backyard, and you can see that line running up very close to the top of the tree there. It took, as I said, just about the entire width of my backyard from where I set up to the tree line with my neighbor. The antenna performed very well on at least 80 through 10. I did give an attempt on 160, but I was receiving a lot of noise, and I wasn't sure if that was coming from just the surroundings of being in suburban Philadelphia or if that was caused by my generator. The noise did seem to be somewhat in sync with the generator, and someday I'll have to set up the antenna again without the generator running to see what it sounds like versus with the generator running. And finally, this year, I bought a new inverter style generator. Got a pretty good deal on it at Costco. Ran much more quietly and was much more stable on its output power. Though the old Harbor Freight 800-watt generator did do the job, it was very slow in responding to load changes. So the way sideband, or especially CW, works, you're having constant changes of how much power the radio is drawing, and therefore how much power the power supply has to draw from the generator. And the Harbor Freight generator would have a lag of about a half a second before it built up some more RPM to back up to the desired value. With this generator, and I had a voltmeter running, the 120 volt AC voltmeter running the entire time while I was operating, I never saw more than a 1 volt change while I was operating, where I would see 5, 7, 8 volts with the Harbor Freight. So generator is a little bit heavier than the Harbor Freight, but in the eco mode, I think I just had to fill it up once over the course of the 24 or so hours of field day. So in that note, I'd like to thank all of you for stopping by. Sorry for how late this video is in coming out, but I've been extremely busy with work, as my role at work has changed a little bit in the past couple of months, so that has significantly eaten into my free time to prepare these videos. But I'm going to still do my best to churn them out so you too can get out there and operate outside. It's a lot of fun. Anybody can do it. You don't need very much special equipment, if anything. Your ham station as it exists, you can easily take it out to a picnic table, take it out to a campsite, take it out to the back seat of your car in the middle of a parking lot somewhere. It all is good. 73, and I'll catch you in the next video.